Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion and giving me this opportunity to read Bhagavatam myself and share it. Not really Bhagavatam today or these few weeks, but 10 offenses to the holy name. So before we get started, we will recite Mangalacharan prayers as well as the invocation verses for Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us go and read the invocation verses, and I will share the screen. So we'll recite these. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So now we will recite the invocation verses for Srimad Bhagavatam. So I will share this, our regular slides or PowerPoint for this. So just to pay our obeisances to Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, and to Sutta Goswami and the Shaunaka Adi Rishis. Please repeat afterwards. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So we are fairly deep into the discussion of the 10 offenses to the holy name, which many devotees, certainly I, definitely commit all the time. And so this is a humble attempt to understand what those offenses are so that they can be rectified. So the we completed the discussion till the 7th offense last time, that to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. And we had a deep discussion on what are sinful activities and how they originate in our heart, from avidya to bija and then kuta and then aprarabdha, the karma, and then prarabdha, manifest sinful activities and so on. We did the whole sort of analysis from Nectar of Devotion, which is Srila Prabhupada's English translation or summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So today I plan to complete the remaining 3 offenses, 8, 9, and 10. And then finally, there is one more offense, very important, which is inattentiveness. So 4 offenses, hopefully we can cover today. And then next week, there'll be a very interesting topic, which is discussion between 2 wonderful personalities about the holy name. Let me just see who can be the 2 most wonderful personalities to discuss the glories of the holy name. Okay, very nice, very nice.
Narada and Vyasa.
Somebody should mute. Okay. Huh? Wonderful. He is Nam Acharya, Haridas Thakur. He is the identified, the bona fide Acharya of the holy name. And who else? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the person himself whose name we take. He is none other than Krishna. So between Krishna and the Acharya of the holy name. So we will have that discussion where a summary of that. And that is covered in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very beautiful and very eye-opening, at least for me. I did not read that section earlier. I had skimmed through it. But anyway, with this whole Ajamil pastime in mind and going through the 10 offenses and then reading that was a whole different experience. So we will discuss that. So anyways, let's go through these topics today. So the 8th offense. So hopefully you can see the screen, or maybe not yet. Let's see. Okay, now you can see. On the Zoom. Can anybody confirm that the screen sharing works?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next offense that we want to cover is what happened here. Okay. So the Sanskrit of this offense is, the 8th offense basically is to, I keep, this keeps going away for some reason. Need a different device. Okay. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities or karma kanda. So basically, the sort of in short, the 8th offense is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be pious activities. So all the things that we have studied regarding pious activities. And in Bhagavad Gita, so many places it is mentioned that one who does pious activities, he attracts pious credits and then he gets to enjoy those credits. So it is at a material level. So to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be like that, pious activity, as a fruitive activity, which results in some fruit. Fruit in this case means pious credits, which you can enjoy, like you enjoy the fruits. So the Sanskrit for this offense is dharma vrata tyaga huta adi sarva shubha kriya samyam api pramadaha. So considering the activities or the chanting of the holy name similar to samyam, samyam means equal to. So samyam of shubha kriya, that is what is mentioned. Dharma vrata tyaga huta adi sarva shubha kriya samyam. So chanting of the holy name is to be considered as similar to or equal to shubha kriya, such as dharma vrata tyaga huta. Dharma means, remember that whole cycle, dharma artha kama, and then you again do dharma. So you are in that mode, that cycle of dharma artha kama. Vrata, which means austerities. Dharma, vrata, tyaga, which means some kind of sannyas. And huta is sacrifices, like yajna or various other types of sacrifices. So all these things are, one who considers that chanting of the holy name is also the same as one of these things. So I just wanted to sort of do it like a discussion, that now that you understand the difference, so holy name and pious activities. So we have had many discussions on what are pious activities. So let us just draw a table. So what are the differences between holy name and pious activities? Or a comparison table. So just anybody would like to say something? What are the differences? I'll tell you one difference, that the chanting of the holy name, it is spiritual, right? And pious activities are material. Correct? So that is one difference. So like that. Anything else? Just so that we can understand that the holy name is not equal to, right? In math, there is this symbol, not equal to. So to consider holy name the same as pious activities would be equal to, but it is not equal to. So why is it not equal to? Because pious activities are material in nature and the holy name is spiritual. What else are some of the differences? Very nice, very good point. So what Mataji just said here is that, I will rephrase it slightly, that the end goal of chanting of pious activities is to enjoy the, so let me just say it this way, end goal is to enjoy the fruit. Okay, which means no pious activities at that time. Correct? So dharma, artha, kama. So when you are enjoying, then you are enjoying. It's like when you are on vacation, you are not working. Right? When you work, you gain money so that you can go on vacation. And when you're on vacation, your boss tells you, when you go on vacation, don't work. Isn't it? So pious activities are like that. Whereas it is mentioned in the Shastras everywhere that the chanting of the holy name continues even after one attains spiritual liberation. It is not that once one becomes liberated from the material world, the chanting of the holy name ends. So the end goal is continuation of chanting. So pious activities come to an end. Chanting of the holy name in a pure sense never comes to an end. It continues, it keeps going. Okay, what else? Some other, there are not like too many big differences, but some other things that you can think of. Anybody?
Prabhuji, on similar lines as the previous note, so pious activity is still karmic. They are karmic in nature, while holy name is transcendental. It is we don't get any karmic reactions.
Yes, true. So that is kind of on the same lines as the first one, that the holy name is spiritual in nature. And I can say here, no reactions or fruits, and material, which means has or bears fruit. Pious activity bears fruit, which is very true. It bears sweet fruits, not bitter fruits, sweet fruits. Anything else? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, for holy name, material body is not required, whereas pious activity, material body is required.
Yes, so similar again, can be done even in spiritual world. And this one is a property or a activity of material world only. Okay, very nice. Anything else? Yes, Mataji.
Like in pious activities, there is a factor which is focused on ourselves and we love ourselves more. But in holy name, no ego, nothing. It's like totally surrendering and completely loving. There is no tinge of us, basically.
Yes. So this is a very nice point. This is a sense gratification. Usually, sense gratification is the goal. And the holy name, service to Krishna, is the goal. Okay, what else?
There is no material qualification.
Only Prabhuji?
Yes, what?
Okay,
Yes,
sorry,
Medha Mataji.
sorry. Only holy name can take you to Goloka Vrindavan, and pious activities cannot.
Very nice point. So holy name, the how should we say, the goal is spiritual world, or I wouldn't say the goal, but we will say the destination or reward. Again, I don't want to word it like a reward, but the destination is spiritual world, kind of related to that. It is spiritual, and here destination is sense gratification, like the previous one in material world. So here Bhagirath Prabhu in the room had a point. So yes, please.
There is no material qualification.
In holy name, you are ever united, but whereas in pious activity, you are not so.
One second, Mataji. Here in the room, we are in a hybrid. Hare Krishna. Bhagirath Prabhu had a comment. I will repeat it for the benefit of everyone.
So there is no material qualification or riches needed to chant the kirtan, but the pious activities, at least some material perfections.
Yes, very important point. This is in fact a very big point. What he is mentioning is that it requires some qualifications. Like we said, dharma, vrata, tyaga, bhuta or yagya, So many times Lord Chaitanya has said, it's not possible to perform these in Kali Yuga. Nobody, you need very qualified Brahmins to perform all those activities. There is no such person qualified enough to perform these activities, especially in Kali Yuga. But the point is, it requires some qualifications. Here requires zero qualifications. And so it requires some qualifications. And the point probably which you meant but didn't say was that no such qualification, no such qualified persons exist, especially in Kali Yuga. So what does this mean? It means that it cannot be performed in Kali Yuga. These activities cannot be performed in Kali Yuga. Even if we want to do some purification of ourselves, even at a material level, it's just not possible. And that leaves, this is the only process for our elevation, whether it be spiritual or material, either way. So I'm just leaving it at that. This can only, the pious activities can only provide material elevation, not spiritual, first of all. We saw that when Parikshit Maharaj himself rejected all these activities, when it's like an elephant, you take a bath and then you again come and spray dirt on yourself. So it's not permanent, it's not spiritual, but the holy name provides eradication of sinful activities and sinful baggage, which is material, and it provides spiritual elevation. So it's the only process for our elevation in Kali Yuga. It's the only way. Harinaam, 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 eva kevalam. Kevalam means only. And then to re-emphasize that point, kalau nastyeva, 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 gatir anitha. In the Kali Yuga, there is just no other way, material or spiritual. How much ever you want to perform pious activities, you would not be able to perform it correctly. So, okay, great. So we spent a lot of time on this. And one last, yes.
Pious activity, at least in terms of when we try to do charity or help others, we are able to do it.
You have to, so in Bhagavad Gita, it says charity in the mode of goodness, or the proper way of doing charity is to do it to the proper person at the proper time with proper mood. If you are, Srila Prabhupada has said so many times, if you're just giving $2 to a, beggar on the street, you don't know if you're doing it in the proper time, proper person, proper mood, proper charity. Yeah, you're doing something, true, but not properly. Yes.
When I know it's covered in spiritual and material, but holy name is not different from Krishna.
Beautiful point. This is this is one of the points I wanted to mention. Yes, thank you. So go ahead. You wanted to finish, but okay. So let me say this. In the case of the holy name, the process is equal to the goal. The holy name is not only the process, it is the goal, because the holy name is none different from Krishna himself. Here, process is not equal to the goal. That sounds just like a difference. Okay, process is equal, so what? So what? Because when you are taking the holy name, then you are already in that moment attaining the goal. If you are taking with offense, no offenses, with purity, yes, sure. But the point is, the process itself is the goal. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to first do the process, like you work for the whole month and then you get your salary. It's like, kind of like, for those for whom work itself is the reward, kind of, so to say.
Krishna.
So these are the sort of the differences between the two. And then comes the point of how do we, if one has, what is the key point of rectification? Oh, Renuka Mataji, did you have a question or a comment? Sorry, yeah, you were saying something when I interrupted you. Go ahead.
It's okay, Prabhuji. I was about to tell it is the most easiest and it is the most toughest in the Kali Yuga to perform.
Chanting is the easiest and the other pious activities are the toughest. That's what you were saying? Okay, I see you nodding your head. So, okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Very nice. Okay. So the rectification, basically, this is more of a theoretical point, and therefore the rectification is to obtain sambandha gyan. We do not know the glories of the holy name. What is the holy, who, the holy name, what or who is Nama Prabhu? Nama Prabhu is the personified holy name. So what is our connection with the holy name? Who is the holy name? To understand that this is not something material, but something spiritual. So obtaining sambandha jnana in order to remove our ignorance. And of course, to start chanting very seriously. After having obtained this sambandha jnana. So of course, one should not wait till eternity to obtain sambandha jnana. Just, for example, reading the Ajamil pastime itself, the 3 chapters should give one the sambandha jnana. So one does not need to become a PhD or double PhD in sambandha jnana, just very basic. And then with a lot of seriousness, very seriously start chanting the holy name. Okay, so that is the 8th offense. So we will go to number 9. Now, number 9 is a little tricky to understand. Kindly mute if you are. I'll mute. Okay, no problem. Okay. The 9th one is, I had a lot of difficulty personally to understand this, and I, from some very senior devotees, I got clarification, and by reading some of these books, etc. So the 9th offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. To instruct, so every word is important. To instruct, so there is a emphasis on the word instruct. A faithless person, so we will see what is the meaning of instruct and what is the meaning of faithless person. Who is a faithless person? Instruct a faithless person in the glories of the holy name. Okay, the Sanskrit, if I switch from this app on this one, I'll get, so I'll just open it in this. One second. Okay, so the 9th offense, the Sanskrit of the 9th offense is ashraddha dane vimukhe api ashrinavati yascha upadeshaha siva nam aparadha. So what is the meaning here? There are 3 aspects here of a person to whom what is defining faithless. So, ashraddhadhane, vimukhe, is it? And ashrinvati. So this means faithless, no shraddha. This ashraddhadhana is also a word that is been used in Bhagavad Gita as well. Faithless. Vimukhe, which means reluctance, reluctant to chant. And ashrinvati means reluctant to hear. So for these people, ashraddhadane vimukhe api ashrinavati yascha upadesha, the upadesha of the holy name. All these are about the holy name. So the word holy name is not there in the Sanskrit because all of these are talking about the holy name. So upadesha, Shiva nama aparadha. Shiva means auspicious, not Lord Shiva, but auspicious. So auspicious upadesha about the glories. That is the upadesha Shiva. So to give upadesha. So let us understand. Now the confusion that everyone, including definitely me, has is, okay, when we go out for Harinaam sankirtan, we are doing Harinaam sankirtan, we are chanting the name of the Lord, and we also encourage others to chant. Even in Srila Prabhupada's time, when he was sitting in Tompkins Square Park, he was not telling don't chant. In fact, he was playing his, what is that very simple instrument called? We have it in the temple with a little stick and a plate. He was playing, or he would play kartals, and people were chanting. So he was actively encouraging. Even Lord Chaitanya actively encouraged chanting of the holy name. So why is it an offense? So it is not an offense. In fact, we will see literally as a remedy of this offense is to encourage people to chant the holy name. The remedy is to just chant the holy name. The offense part is to instruct about the glories. Because, so deeper glories, like who is the name personified? I am taking this example from this beautiful book by Sachinandan Swami called Nectarian Ocean of the Holy Name, where he has taken many points from Harinaam Chintamani as well. And like, for example, telling that the name is a person and the person dances on the tongue and all that, people will get confused. People may think, oh, this is some, crazy cult guys, and I don't want to, kind of do all this black magic or this or that, or they will get something, they could. So that is an offense because you're not really, so one should not, instruct. The process is to first build their faith. And the best way to build faith is to just encourage them to chant the name of the Lord. And all faiths in the world encourage the chanting of the name. For example, in Christianity, there is Hallelujah, which means the glory of the Lord. Let there be the Lord's glory, or Allahu Akbar, or whatever. There are every religion. So just say, this is the name of God. Let's take the name of God. Don't have to say why you have to take the name of the God. Why can't you go and, do other things? Just take the name. If they don't want to take, you take the name so that they can hear. But don't go into the deep glories. Srila Prabhupada says, if a person speaks the word Hare Krishna, his spiritual life begins. Then Another example that is which Sachinandan Maharaj takes from Harinaam Chintamani, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains also. So this is again theoretical, so we'll move a little fast, is that to instruct a faithless person also means to give diksha or spiritual initiation, what is known as Harinam initiation, to a faithless person. This has been happening also in some other branches. This is definitely not encouraged by Srila Prabhupada, where the disciple must first come to the level of building faith, to the level of chanting certain number of rounds every day nicely, and then he is given spiritual initiation. So, but it may be possible that some others are giving initiation and then saying, okay, if you want, you can chant, or telling them maybe this is a good idea, or whatever may be the case. So then the guru attracts some, this one. So, but the most important thing is that to encourage people to just chant the holy name. That is not included within this offense. Just encouraging completely faithless people who have no idea to chant the holy name is not an offense according to this instruct a faithless person to chant or to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. That offense does not apply if you are simply encouraging them to chant. If you are giving them upadesha, Shiva, upadesha of the auspiciousness of the glories of chanting, then that is an offense. Okay. So, therefore, for those who are preaching, so there is an instruction for those who are preaching, and also for the those who are listening. So this is also important for me, I am listener. I try to say some things to others as well, and for everybody else as well, that the preaching should be audience specific, based on the audience. So that is one point. Now, again, I don't know how to reconcile with the fact, okay, we upload all the lectures on YouTube and everybody can listen, and this and that. I don't know where to draw the line. So this is something to be contemplated on and to think about and see. And of course, one should not do that to get likes and to get subscribes and this and that. He'll hit the bell icon and subscribe down here and all that gimmicks and all that should not be done at all. For the benefits of serious, according to the audience, one can potentially do this. That would be my understanding. But yeah, that is something to be. So the preaching should be audience specific. One should not, otherwise one has the risk of committing this offense. For the listening people also, they should listen according to their level. Certain methodology has been prescribed. So one should not jump into very advanced topics before going through the sort of the simpler topics. That's why Srila Prabhupada says, don't jump into the 10th canto, especially the Rasa Panchadhyaya. Everybody wants to jump there. You must start from the first canto and then go into the 10th canto, like this, in sequence. Or Srila Prabhupada had instructed Bhurijan Prabhu to set up this whole system of Bhakti Shastri, then Bhakti Vaibhav, then Bhakti Vedanta, and Bhakti Sarvabhauma. So these kind of sequence, you read Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, and Ishopanishad first. Then you go and read first 6 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, then next 6 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Bhakti Vedanta, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita as Bhakti Sarvabhauma. So that is at the deeper level, but yes, basic understanding of Bhagavad Gita and the other basic texts should occur first before one jumps. So that is one instruction. So the problem is that faithless persons, like I explained, they cannot understand the glories and they may misinterpret them and consider them to be imaginary, exaggerations, made up, or worse, as something to be discarded or avoided if they don't build their faith sequentially. And if they get that in their head, it may be very difficult later on to get it out. So for beginners, Sachinandan Maharaj says that one should not be told what not to do. Just tell what to do, which means tell them to chant the holy name. Don't tell them if you should chant what without these offenses and this and that, and don't cloud anybody's mind with all this long list. But encouraging to chant the holy name loudly or quietly, but beginning loudly. There is a potency of loud chanting with association, sankirtana. Kirtana with sang means there has to be some sangha. So chanting kirtana in a sangha is sankirtana. So congregational loud chanting is the first step. It is itself the remedy to this offense. So that is mentioned here. And once somebody's faith becomes strong or stronger, then one can go in deeper into the glories. Okay. So the main point is chanting. This is the essence. The holy name is the solution to all problems, including the problem of being faithless in chanting the holy name. So encouraging people to chant the holy name is the solution to build their faith in the chanting of the holy name itself. Okay. Okay. So we will go in the okay, we will take questions as they come up. We will go into the 10th offense. 10th offense is very, very, very important, very hard, the hardest one, at least for me. So please listen carefully, the 10th offense. Shrute api naam mahatmye. What does that mean? Shrute api naam mahatmye. Simple, right? On hearing the mahatmya, the glories of the holy name, Shrute api naam mahatmye, yah priti rahito naraha. Priti rahita. Priti rahita means, rahita means, Hare Krishna, devoid of love, devoid of the taste of the holy name. So even after hearing the glories of the holy name, one continues or stays to be, Hare Krishna, devoid of the taste of the holy name. Priti rahito naraha. Aham namadi paramo. Aham, not namadi. Aham mamadi namo paramo. Aham and mama paramo. Considering on the contrary that aham and mama is paramo. Namni so api aparadhakrit. That is a offense to the Naam, to the holy name. Understood? So, Shrute api Naam Mahatmya, even after hearing Naam Mahatmya, Yah Priti Rahito Naraha, one still has no taste in chanting the holy name. Aham Mama Adi Paramo, one continues to consider Aham and Mama as the highest, which means ahankar or attachments, material attachments. Namni so api aparadhakrit. That is an offense to the holy name. So the translation is to not have complete, Srila Prabhupada translates it as to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments. Mama aham. Even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Shrute nama mahatmya. Understand? So there are two parts to this offense. The first part is Preeti Rahita, which means no taste in chanting. And number two is Mam plus Aham, which means me and mine is superior, or basically Srila Prabhupada says maintaining material attachments. Yeah. So that is an offense, and I am totally fully guilty of this offense to this day. So what are the qualities or what are the characteristics of such a person? So we will deal with this one first. Mam aham. Characteristics, we all know. Yeah, please come here. Characteristics of materialistic person. So we all know what are the characteristics of materialistic person. Anybody who has attended even 2 classes, any spiritual nature understands the characteristics of materialistic person. That he thinks that, yeah, I am my own protector. I am my own protector. And all my fame, property, etc. is a result of what? My own efforts. Right? And therefore I am entitled to enjoy it. If it is mine, then I am entitled to enjoy it if I have produced it. Right? And all are very similar. I'm just kind of breaking it down into some points. And very proud, very, very proud of what? So many things. Knowledge. What else? Strength.
Money.
Wealth, money, fame. I am the president, or I have so many followers on Twitter or whatever, this or that. Fame, intelligence, knowledge, yes. Beauty, birth, high birth. So many things. So these are the characteristics. So the main theme is, like I think Bhagirath Prabhu said, I am the body. Or all these things are basically bodily designations. So this point I have heard from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, but I'm sure it has been explained by other devotees as well. That body is a covering, right? Oh, sorry. Body is a covering. So it is not, we said, that the fundamental theme is that I am the body, correct? Or bodily designations. identifying with the body. But body is just a covering. Just like a diving suit, if you want to go to the depths of the ocean, you cannot go in this body. You have to wear a diving suit. So you are somebody, right? But you have to wear a false sort of a, it's not you. You know at that point you're wearing somebody so that you can go to the depths of the ocean. Or let's say if you want to go in space, you cannot go in this body. So you have to cover it up so that you can go there for whatever purpose, maybe to enjoy.
Prabhuji, sorry for the disturbance.
Yes.
Body is the only instrument for living person, by human being, and body is the what you say is covering everything, right? That is my understanding. Is it right or not? I don't know.
Oh, yes. Body is all we have. It is the medium of communicating or interacting with the material world. But the problem is identification that the body's happiness is my happiness, or body's pleasure is my only goal. That is the problem. Isn't that what we say here? False or characteristic of a material person, he's very proud of his body. Everything is bodily here. The birth is body, the intelligence is a body, his strength is body, right? Wealth, fame, beauty, all these are bodily. So deriving pleasure from the false covering, that is like, that's where I was giving this example, that deriving pleasure as to how good of a diving suit you have. Doesn't it sound silly? After you come back to the shore and you take off your diving suit, how does it matter how good of a diving suit you had? Isn't it?
Not good. That is not good.
That is foolish. So that is the point. Yes, to go down to the ocean, you need a diving suit. No problem with that. But trying to identify that my diving suit is better than yours, and therefore feeling happy because of that, is the foolishness. We forget that this is only a temporary diving. 10 minutes you dive and you come out. After coming out, the diving suit will be gone and the real you will be there, and then you can go and have some nice pakoras and paneer tikkas and all that. So that is your real enjoyment, so to say. What is the point of bragging of how good of a diving suit you had? You can brag about, oh, nice pakoras, nice whatever, gulab jamuns. Similarly, the soul is the real enjoyer. So for him to say, Krishna's name, so nice, that is the pakoda, that's the gulab jamun, instead of saying, oh, I have so many dollars in my pocket, or I have, so much. That's the analogy. Okay. For me, it kind of is a very strong, hard-hitting analogy. It makes me really understand, yes, how much, how foolish it is to brag that how good of a suit I have, which I'm anyway going to take off. So just to identify ourselves with a materialistic person's, this is very, very true for me, materialistic person's attitude to chanting the holy name. What is a materialistic person's attitude to chanting the holy name, typically?
I'll get some benefit out of it.
Yeah, okay. Some material benefit.
Or my next life would be better.
Which is also material. Yeah. What else? As a fruitive activity, basically.
Some suffering.
Yeah, so that's also material benefit. Yeah. I am better than others. So, which means
That sense, Prabhuji, that sense egoism. I am better, I am good.
Yeah. So for what do you say? For appreciation of others, what's the word for that? For praise, yes. For praise.
It can be connected that you down look upon others.
Sure. Or if you are chanting, then say, I am better than you. I do chanting or you don't. Or I do 32 rounds, you only do 3. Or whatever may be the case. Yes. What else? Something more deeper. Yes, guilt. Kind of related to, okay, if I don't chant, then people will either look down on me or something like that. Or as a social obligation. Now, social doesn't mean in society, but in the temple congregation. That is our social circle, so to say. Correct? So, obligation, I must do this. Otherwise,
old age, old people, they attend to, they get the God's feet, so they chant the old days, older people. For mukti, I think. That's for mukti. Yeah.
That is probably the right reason. But yes, the point I think you are saying is about the old age.
Yeah, old age.
Yes.
People, they chant
Yes.
more in the younger days.
More than the younger days. Yes. Okay. And also, while chanting, this is a thing which kind of is true in my sense, or at least it used to be, or I don't know if it is. I'm maybe trying to again look good, or I have to introspect deeply in myself, that it is something something cheap or unworthy. Oh, that's all you have to do. Can't do anything better. Can't, what is this chanting? Can't you write some equations and do something better? Why you have to just chant? So something small. So chanting the holy name with the understanding that it is, I have to do it, but I have better use of my time, so to say.
But cheap, you mean inexpensive?
No. Cheap as in like something small. Too simple or too insignificant.
It's not cool for me.
Not cool for me. Yes, very nice. Nicely said. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I want to just add to that. I recently, when I heard a comment like where somebody commented, "Oh, I don't like chanting because what is that all about? Like wearing the bead bag." So I heard those things also.
Hmm.
The intent was like, so.
Yes. Yes. So, for such a person, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the help for a person who is materially attached. Now, this is not somebody who is just materially attached. Okay, so please, this is after, what did we say here? Shruti ape nama mahatmya. After understanding the glories of the holy name. For those who have understood or at least heard Shruti, the glories of the holy name, they are aham mamadi paramo. They are still considering aham and mama as parama. For them, they are like woken up persons, but pretending to sleep. It may be possible to wake up a sleeping person. So very nicely Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, but it is not possible to wake up a person who is pretending to sleep. Or it is very hard. Right? So after hearing the glories, if you're still attached, then it's much harder. It's not impossible, but it is harder.
But Prabhuji, isn't that a process? I mean, it cannot happen overnight.
Yes, true.
Even if we hear those glories about the Krishna and
It's like it's a process. It cannot happen.
Yes, but hearing this point itself, what I just said, or what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, hearing this point itself that, aha, I know it, but I'm not applying it. It erodes one more layer in your consciousness and makes you go toward it. So that is why constantly being, we will see in the remedy of this holy name or this offense is to constantly hear about the glories, continue our Shruti of the Nama Mahatmya. So continuing to hear that the glory, the holy name is so glorious, constantly reminding ourselves. Because when we do the chanting, sometimes we get lost. Why am I doing this? And then it becomes mechanical. It should always be accompanied by the reinforcement. Why am I doing this? So this is a process of that. One realizes that, okay, I have heard it, let me apply it. Does that? So this is the process, both chanting the holy name as well as sambandha jnana. And another we will see powerful remedy. So let's go into the remedies. The remedies are first, so very powerful remedy is association of those who chant seriously. Now, this is one problem I personally have, which is actually it says association of those who have attained shuddha bhakti. How do you chant? How do you find somebody who has attained shuddha bhakti? Now, there may be some people in this planet, some very senior sannyasis or very nice devotees, even like, for example, I was telling in the Sunday feast, I think I met this one Prabhu, his name is Krishna Kripa Prabhu. I have genuine, very sincere appreciation for him because I follow his blog and his, he's just always engaged in chanting the holy name. He was at this conference, which I went to 2 weeks back. Whole day he attended conference. Before the conference started, or no, the conference was arranged at a time where the whole world sort of, it was a hybrid conference. So the entire world could participate. There were devotees from Australia to Japan to India, of course, and many other places. So it started from on East Coast time at 7 a.m. East Coast. So people from the West Coast also would be able to attend, but they'd be at 4 a.m. And East Coast 7 a.m. means Australia somewhere in the night or whatever, but at least some reasonable time. So it went from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then he went for one Harinaam sankirtan after that, after having some lunch, then came back, did some chanting. We sat down and chanted few rounds together. Then again, he went for another Harinaam sankirtan. Then after he came back, then he was doing some course. He said, I have to listen to these 3 lectures. I have to write some homework, answers, submit, all that. And then next morning, again, he was, and he was staying in the next room and we were sharing a bathroom. So I could hear, so I got up at like 5 o'clock and, tried. And then I woke up my son and then so that he could use the bathroom. So, but before I got up, he had already gotten ready and everything. I don't know when he got the time to sleep. And then he did two times Harinaam Sankirtan and my God, and he was telling all these beautiful pastimes to me of, and when you see him singing and chanting, it's like he's, at least I could feel that he is just taking the holy name. Really, it's coming from his heart. And not to mention his material qualities or anything, but he's a computer science graduate from Brown University. It's an Ivy League school. I mean, that doesn't mean anything much for him, definitely not. But I'm just saying, it's not like he was a nothing to do person. Because he had nothing else to do, he started chanting. That's not the case. And for 17 years, he helped Sadaputa Prabhu publish his books, did his editing, made a lot of graphics and this and that. So very, very, very pure person. So the question is how to find pure people whom you can associate with, who chant seriously. So whatever little association we get, we should grab it. And whoever is chanting the holy name, we can chant along with them. And the second one is to reject all bodily shelters. And take full shelter of the holy name. So if we go to this previous slide, all these shelters, aren't these shelters? Knowledge is a shelter, you know. Oh, I have a lot of knowledge. I have these degrees. I'll always be employable or whatever. Strength, wealth, these are all shelters. Fame. Nothing can happen much to me. I will be protected. So foregoing all those shelters.
Prabhuji, isn't that true that our body is a vehicle for spiritual advancement?
Yes.
So if you do not have a healthy body, it's very hard to even
It's not
progress.
renouncing those shelters.
Yeah. So what you're saying is not inconsistent with what I'm saying at all. We're not saying give up your body or make your body unhealthy. That's not the point.
It's still we are taking a shelter of our body.
No, it's a different thing, isn't it? Let's just take the example of your car. Okay. Car is a vehicle to go from one place to other. You maintain the car. You take it for servicing, you maintain it, keep it nice, clean and healthy so that you can go from one place to the other. But for many people, the car itself is a status symbol. The brand name of the car, the logo that you have in front of the car is all that it means. Of course, they will also keep it spick and span, of course. But much, much more than that is the attachment to the using that as a status symbol. Okay. So whatever, this is the same thing between needs and wants, or between, so taking shelter. Oh, I'm such a big man. I have this big car. People will respect me. You understand? Keeping the car in a good condition so that it is a transport vehicle, so that you can go from one place to other. Definitely that is there. Definitely. So don't collapse the two aspects. Clear? Okay. So rejecting all other shelters. And the third one, as we said, is to repeatedly, I don't know if the spelling is correct, repeatedly hearing about the Nama Mahatmya, or some same thing as Sambandha Jnana. Repeatedly hearing, repeatedly receiving Sambandha Jnana knowledge from Shastra or from devotees. Okay, so these are the remedies. Make sense? Okay. So finally, the last one is known as Pramada, the 11th, so to say, or as Srila Prabhupada has translated, it's not called 11th one, but the root of all offenses is to be inattentive while chanting. That is, if you want to eliminate one offense, you want to start with one, which will begin to propel others to get eliminated, is to chant attentively. The Sanskrit for that, very interestingly, is pramad. What does pramad mean? Pramad means madness. So how come madness is equated with inattentiveness.
A mad person is not focused.
Mad person is not focused. So Sachinandan Maharaj explains it very nicely, at least it appeals to me, is that it is madness that you invite Lord Krishna by chanting his name and then you don't give him your attention. It's like you invite a guest and then you ignore him. That is madness. So when you invite a guest, you pay attention to him. So, of course, there can be many ways to understand this, but this is a good enough way. There can be various other variations of this. But anyway, inattentiveness. So there are three categories of inattentiveness. Very quickly, we will end. Three kinds of inattentiveness. One is indifference. Indifference. So indifference means, okay, I'm chanting, but it's not important. Indifference. I'm doing it, but it is a very low priority task for me, or it doesn't matter. I don't know why I'm doing it. It could be one of for the previous reasons, to look good, for praise, social acceptance, whatever may be the case. So that is indifference. Because what is at higher priority for them? If this is low priority, something else has to be higher priority. Material attachments are higher priority. So indifference is the first kind of, or cause, or you can say is the root of inattentiveness. One is indifferent to chanting. So even while chanting, this is the important part. Fine, there are important things. Mother will say, what do you mean? My child is highest priority, taking care of my child. Yes, true. It doesn't mean that in the beginning stages, you forget everything and you renounce, become a sannyasi and then do chanting. No. But even while you are chanting, at least in that moment, you can make that the highest priority. So many times it happens to me. While I'm chanting, only all the tasks come to mind. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that. Then afterwards, as soon as chanting is over, I try to remember, oh, what were all those things that I was wanting to do? Then I chant 2 more rounds so that those thoughts will come back. All the unfinished things come to mind only when, because those are very important, and chanting is like a time to recollect what else is important.
So, Prabhuji, I have my personal experience. When I'm chanting, as you said, you can remember everything else apart from Krishna. Then you, after few, maybe after
One second, there is a comment in the room. We will.
Prabhuji, because of that, we have to chant loudly. At that time, maybe that is not possible to come all ideas, and that is my understanding. Loudly chanting is very good.
Very nice. Yes, that is a remedy. Correct. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Anjana Mataji in the room has a comment.
I'm sharing my personal experience. So
Yeah.
it's like after a few, maybe a round or so, you realize that you're not focusing, you bring your attention back. Within 5 or 6 times, you take Krishna's name again, you're back to square one. So I was facing a personal problem that I was exhausted of bringing my attention back. It was like tiring, honestly. I mean, it was so tiring that you're trying to focus, and then I lost my patience basically. So I mean, what to do in that scenario? I mean, you're like just doing maybe 10 or 16 rounds, but
The
So-
quality is so low that
Yeah, so some remedies have been given. So first remedy is one which you mentioned itself, which is, as you said, not such a effective remedy in your case after a certain number of times of applying it, but at least in those number of times it works, right? For the first few times. Okay.
seconds probably.
Okay, it worked. That's a lot. Few seconds is. Try to look at the positive side. Okay, so bring your mind back.
In theory, it works.
No, I think in practice also it works. The moment you realize you have what is 6.26? Yato yato nischalati manchalam manaschancilam asthiram tatas tato niyam yaitad atmani eva vasham.
Atmanyeva.
Under, as the mind wanders, bring it under your vasha, under your control.
Our surroundings should be calm and we can be.
Okay, very nice point. I'm coming to that. Beautiful point. Surroundings are a very, so bring mind back. It helps. It definitely helps. As soon as you realize, don't victimize yourself. Don't tell yourself, I'm so bad. Just as soon as you realize my mind is wandering, you have an access. Don't try to then enjoy. Oh, I'm going to go on vacation. Then you remember you are going to go on vacation while you are chanting. Instead of next thinking, oh, what was the next from there? I will go there. Instead of thinking about that, think about, bring it back. The moment you realize, instead of indulging, bring it back. That is one. Second thing, very important, like Mataji said, surroundings. And this has a profound effect. Profound effect. One very simple thing is to chant in front of a tulsi plant. Yeah, tulsi plant. You know it's tulsi, okay? Tulsi plant. Okay, I'll fix it. Okay. Tulsi plant. Now, another one which is, now this one I truly I can say that it is amazing, is to go to a dham and chant at a place where Lord Krishna performed his pastimes or his devotee performed pastimes. Now, I have personally like went to or experienced, like, I don't know, it was just the sheer sort of the gravity of the place. Maybe I was like in Vrindavan, there is the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. Now they have made it a little more modern with a deity of Rupa Goswami. But earlier, if you see the Samadhi, an older picture, there was just a Samadhi, like a slab with his Japamala. Now, I don't know whether it was his Japamala from 500 years ago or not, but there was a Japamala kept. It was just so powerful. And right across his Samadhi in Radha Damodar Mandir is his Bhajan Kutir. I remember many years ago when I went there, I sat there and did 16 rounds of japa. I don't know if I can qualify it as number one, number two, number three, but that was one of the best japa that I could do. Every time I was just kind of under the gravity that this is the place where the sort of the physical body of Rupa Goswami is there, or, you know, is the Samadhi place of Rupa Goswami. You can't get closer to Rupa Goswami, so to say, than this. That was at least my conversation. I'm like, you know, few feet within him, from him, so to say. These were all my thoughts, and I was like, whoa, you know.
Plus, probably you feel vibration in your body also when you're close to Samadhi. I mean, it was like, it has such powerful vibration that you can feel it in your body.
Yes, absolutely. And so, you know, in a holy place, I will just say. And the third place is in a locked room, alone, no distractions.
One thing I also heard in a lecture is that when stand in a place for a long time, that maybe
That means, Prabhuji, mauna, silent, myself silent.
But chanting is not silent. But chanting in a place which is quiet, nobody else is there, that is one option. The other option is to chant along with others in association. So the fourth thing is in association of other devotees. Okay. So whatever works, you have to see what works for you. So these are remedies. So what is the time? It is 7:25. So we'll quickly cover the last two types of inattentiveness. The second type of inattentiveness is laziness. So many times it happens. This is the last thing, many times, like I've done 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Okay, 16 rounds at 1 a.m. Okay. Sometimes you say, okay, next tomorrow, or tomorrow, and then it becomes 200 rounds. And then you say, okay, I give up. I'll start from zero. Can't catch up with 200. The main remedy, the main remedy is do not waste time. Then, properly plan time or whatever, and especially in prajalpa. What is the modern dictionary meaning of prajalpa? WhatsApp, Facebook. I am familiar with these two, but there are more that I am luckily not familiar with. Instagram and TikTok, whatever. Twitter. Yeah, I was a little bit on Twitter till Donald Trump was president, but after that Twitter was no longer interesting after they took him down. Anyway, Elon Musk is mildly interesting. Okay, so yeah.
But what does prajalpa mean, Prabhu?
Prajalpa means any conversation which is not moving you forward spiritually, or it is neither what is known as mukhya vidhi nor gauna vidhi. Means, okay, mukhya vidhi means direct spiritual activity. Gauna vidhi means anything else which is supporting your spiritual activity, like you feeding your child, because if your child becomes cranky, then you cannot do your main spiritual. So it is the supporting, the secondary, you doing your job, 8 hours of job, so that your boss doesn't yell at you, so that your mind is peaceful, so that you can chant. Cleaning your body, taking care of your body, cutting your nails, shaving, this, that, whatever, running, exercise, so that the body is healthy, so that you don't have diseases, so that you can do spiritual activity. Anything that supports spiritual activity, supporting activities. But following Donald Trump's tweets, how does it support your, or for that matter, any of these, whatever? Now, Facebook, I do a lot of, I have 0 friends on Facebook, 0, literally, but I follow almost 100 devotees. And I scan sometimes and see some very nice things. I mean, I just, after a certain point, I realized it's foolish to remain off of Facebook, because many devotees are posting such nice things on Facebook. For example, Hari Parshad Prabhu is there, and many devotees post on other places also, on YouTube or this or that. Some post on Facebook only, whatever. Nice things, very nice, which are very uplifting. But then you have to manage it very carefully. Don't get sucked in, because these things will Facebook doesn't have a spiritual goal. So they will inject all kind of material things in between. And then if you get sucked in, suddenly 1 hour gone. There's just such stupid things are there. I've seen on Facebook, for example, when you're going something like how they draw some murals on the ground. Those things, for some reason, maybe I had spent watching one mural, or how they paint a tree. Some guy was painting a tree as if the tree is hollow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can see through the tree. Maybe I had spent 5 minutes on it. Facebook remembers that. Now it keeps showing me all these kind of things. So very catchy. Anyway, we are running out of time. So time management and association with those, that is always with those who are not lazy. The last one is, the last type of inattentiveness is distractions. Oops, sorry. Distractions. So distraction means you have something that is, either constantly distracting you, or something, various things are distracting you. So this means lack of, in other words, focus. You're not focused. You're not able to keep your focus. Or you think that you can multitask. Shastras clearly say, Vyavasayatmikaha buddhi ekeha kurunandana. So mind can only handle one thing. Mind is not designed. Lord Krishna is saying he's the designer of the mind or our body. So the designer, the engineer, or whatever you can say, architect, or the whoever knows everything, is telling you this is how this yantra rudhani mayaya. This is a yantra. This is how this instrument works. Your mind can handle one thing at a time. So if you are thinking of something else, you are not focusing or attentive to the holy name. We are fools to think that we can do two things at the same time. You can switch back and forth very quickly, maybe. But the mind can, at a time, can only try practicing this, try hearing two things. You won't get one word of either one. Try reading two sentences at the same time. You won't get it. You have to focus on one. And the root of all these offenses, or removing these offenses, is to pray to Krishna. If all else fails, now again, the remedy is association and hearing, but pray to Krishna to help remove the offenses. Very sincerely, just make a personal prayer, make up a prayer in English, in whatever, Tamil, Telugu, whatever your native language. Don't have to recite some mantra, but very sincerely stand in front of the deity and with a very sincere heart ask for this benefit, like you ask, no, exam pass or promotion time coming or whatever. Very sincerely stand and ask that please remove these offenses, or any one or two offenses that you are inspired by or that you think that you should remove. Just praying to Krishna to remove those offenses. Okay, so that
listening to kirtan during chanting count as a distraction?
So the question is, does listening to kirtan during chanting count as distraction? So I am not a very good person to answer this question, because I don't have much experience with attentive chanting myself. But if it helps, I would say at my level, if it helps you to focus on chanting, yes. Now I know I am a person, for example, now I am not good at chanting, but I am good at studies, math, physics, this, that, whatever. And I see so many people, including my son, now he can focus on his work while listening to some music. For me, even if it is just mundane music or something, and even if it's at low volume, and if I have to focus, I just cannot. I must turn it off. I don't know. So I can say that. So what I can say is that it depends from person to person. Some people maybe, and of course you're not listening to Michael Jackson while doing chanting. Your question is about listening to kirtan. So that's highly aligned. But I would say if it helps you to focus in the chanting, then yes. Now, one thing which is highly recommended, and it works for me, and I have heard that it works for many, many, many other devotees, is to hear Srila Prabhupada chanting. Now, when you say kirtan, I thought, or I assumed there was a musical aspect to it connected. But kirtan is anything. Srila Prabhupada used to say when he is doing management discussion with the other devotees, how is the temple running, how to do book distribution, he would call everything as kirtan. But your kirtan, I think, assumed a sort of a musical chanting. But hearing Srila Prabhupada japa and doing, then you are chanting in association of a pure devotee, at least in his voice, in his vani. So we come. Any other questions or any corrections? Yes, Mataji.
So Prabhuji, I mean, sometimes I think I asked it before too, but it's like, sometimes I feel I'm chasing a number.
Yes.
So it's like, what is better, that if I do just one round, but sing and feel connected to Krishna, or do 16 rounds and maybe 5 times I got connected to Krishna?
Very nice. Just to show you here, I'm just following some notes here. This is the one. It says, you see, in other words, one should concentrate on improving the quality of chanting rather than on a great quantity of rounds for prestige.
So,
I was going to just mention that point. So it's right here on my iPad here. So the point is, increasing the number of rounds is very good. Is very good, is highly desirable, but for what purpose? Is it for prestige? Oh, I did so many rounds. Or is it so that you can do something that you love with great quality more? Like, for example, I don't know, whatever you love in material world, maybe vacationing. 2 weeks of vacation is better than 1 week of vacation, right? And I would say I do vacations with very high quality. I'm totally into it. Taking pictures, hiking, whatever may be the case. And then definitely 2 weeks is better than 1. So yes, that should be the goal. But not for chasing a number. Definitely not. Definitely not.
So, kind of like thinking along those lines, it's like when you talk to people around, they ask you to chant like 16 rounds. That's recommended. You should do it. So as Mataji said, that you have
with focus.
Guilt. Yeah, you have some guilt, in yourself that, you know what, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah, this is a problem in our sort of social circle, so to say, our congregational circle. You just say a number 16. Ah, very nice, very nice. It's just, we should not do that. I never ask somebody, how many rounds do you chant? Then it forces people to, say something. And of course, they don't want to lie. One time they may lie. Next time they may think, I don't want to lie. Let me just do 16. however, by hook or by crook, just me do 16, so that next time when he asks, I can at least say 16. Hopefully he won't ask how much quality you did, because that is kind of vague. Or this, we should eradicate that kind of culture. We should focus on quality, but not say, okay, one with very great quality, yes, one. Not just focus on number and stay there. If you want to ask, did you do 16 rounds with great intensity today? That should be the question then. The number game just becomes like, okay, as long as I say some number which looks good, the next thing doesn't matter. And honestly, really, the people around will be there today, won't be there tomorrow. You will move, they will move. I'm looking at all these people. None of them were there 5 years ago. Let's see. Dikala Prabhu, yes. Shilpa Lad Mataji, yes. But nobody else. I look at all these pictures on the temple's website, Flickr or wherever, from 2010, 2011. Where are those people? They are young people. They haven't died and they haven't moved maybe. They are still here, obviously. Where did the people change? Who are you trying to look good to? Have the honesty to say that I have done 2 rounds nicely, or whatever. I don't know what the answer should be, but be genuine. The long term, the one person who will not disappear is Krishna. Be true to him rather, or look good to him rather than looking good to these people who will not be here in your vicinity after 5 years. Who are you trying to look good to? If the one person you should try to look good to is Krishna, have that conviction, or that completely strong faith, or not faith, but resolve that he is the one I care about. All these things about asking how many rounds do you do, another question that I don't like at all. Many temples I have gone to. Hare Krishna, who is your spiritual master? What is your name? Param Karuna Das. Who gave you that name? The one thing that everybody is interested in is, who is your guru? How many rounds do you do? Why does it matter? This is so us versus them thing. Putting people in boxes. Yes.
What's the reason or significance behind the prescription of 16 rounds? Why not say how many ever you can with quality?
So there is a certain, okay, so the question is, what is the significance between doing 16 rounds versus how many ever you want with quality? So I'll answer that question, but somewhere I sense in your question that the prescription, you use the word prescription of 16 rounds any which way. That's not the prescription. The prescription is to do 16 attentive rounds. Okay, now the question should be, why 16 attentive rounds versus 8 versus 32 attentive rounds? So somewhere one has to draw the line. Okay, Srila Prabhupada came up with the number 16. He's Acharya. Acharya means one who sets the way. He creates the difference between sannyasi and Acharya. There is a difference. There are so many sannyasis today in ISKCON, but not everybody, and I don't want to comment on any names, but not everybody is an Acharya, or if anybody is an Acharya, I don't know. Srila Prabhupada is Acharya. He sets the standard. He sets the baseline. Before him, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj's standard was 64 rounds. Now he knows in the West, it is so hard to live. To have a living is hard here. If you're living in India, in Vrindavan, it's much easier. One can spend 64 rounds time to chant, then do some little work, eat 2 chapatis or whatever, you can be happy. Here, people have to work 2 jobs just to have a roof under your or over your head and get some food. So devotees said, we won't be able to chant 64 rounds. Then we will, die or whatever, have too many problems. He said, okay, 32. He said, no, that's also takes like 4 hours. He said, okay, 16, done. 1.5 to 2 hours you can easily take out in a day. That much if you are not doing, because then if you say, okay, how many ever, people say 1 round, okay, then what is the seriousness? Krishna has given us 24 hours. We must spend 1.5 hours to 2 hours of the 24 hours on our sadhana. This is our sadhana bhakti, vaidhi sadhana, vidhi. This is our practice. Then when we attain a state where we are constantly remembering Krishna. Arjuna, how many rounds was he chanting?
He used to chant while
Tech-
sleeping also.
Technically 0. But otherwise he is chanting all the time, because he is at a stage where he doesn't, he is just chanting all the time. So till we are not at that stage, in the stage of practice, our acharyas have given us a prescription of 16 rounds. So out of 24 hours, which kind of maps to a certain amount of time it takes to do attentive, good chanting, some are able to do in 1.5 or 2 and anywhere in between. That much is expected if one is serious about one's devotional life. Okay. Okay. Yes.
Remind me of Urmila Mataji's lecture once where she made us do an exercise. So if Krishna is your best friend when you die, what would he write in your obituary? So that really touched me. Like, what does Krishna think about you? That's what you should be
Yes.
all the time.
Yes. The one person we should care about is him. We care about everybody else but him. What will he think about me? And that's the only person we should care about, what he thinks of us. And we care about how the whole world thinks about us. Whether my hair are looking good, whether, my this, that, everything is looking good.
Regarding the offense, Prabhuji, you said about the holy name, what to preach, but like if we go for book distribution, for Bhagavad Gita, we have to let them know, what's in Bhagavad Gita, and how do we and how much do we reveal? How do we approach it?
So the question is, if when we are distributing Bhagavad Gita, which is containing very deep glories of the holy name, so to say, and glories of Krishna, we can say that this is a spiritual book. And Srila Prabhupada, we have to, this is my understanding, trust that Srila Prabhupada has not trust. It is true. I have read the Bhagavad Gita a few times myself. Srila Prabhupada's purports and the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita and all the purports very clearly explain in a progressive way the meaning of who is Krishna and what is our sambandha with Krishna. So we can tell them in one of many ways what is in the Bhagavad Gita. It's the manual for life, how to live life, or the book of instructions by God, or so many things. But we should encourage them to read Bhagavad Gita sequentially. And the way Srila Prabhupada has presented Bhagavad Gita will make sure that they don't end up causing that offense. They will go in that sequence. And many of his purports, everywhere Srila Prabhupada starts basically from the beginning. If he just hits the main points. There are places in the Bhagavad Gita where he goes very deep, but many places are very simple and straightforward. So I think it is appropriate to distribute Bhagavad Gita with that mood. And yeah, these are tough questions. I may not have all the answers, and maybe some of my answers are wrong. Please forgive me, but I'm giving the best answers according to my understanding. If there are better answers or somewhere I'm wrong, please provide me feedback. And the best thing we can do is to pray to Krishna to fix or to help us to remove our offenses. And in that mood, we can continue our service. Okay. Yes, yes.
Question. So like the person like me, like if I don't have guarantee, like I will do whatever rounds I'm doing with good quality, then instead of minimizing those, it's okay, like means instead of decreasing the number of rounds, sticking with, let's say 3 rounds I'm doing with good quality and my goal is to do 7 or 8, and remaining one just with not good quality, but just keep doing it and slowly increasing that. So is that okay, or it's not good? Like means, is it like the quality is very important? Because
So
anyway, I don't have
so first
guarantee.
of all, I forgot to say one thing, which is in line to your question. Your question is, if I'm able to do 3 rounds with good quality, but I want to do 8, is it okay to do 3 with good quality and consciously do 5 with less quality? Something like that.
Not
right?
consciously, but I will try to do it good, but sometimes it happens, right? Like I'm just giving an example. Even I can't guarantee 3 will become with good quality, because it depends on mine, like how means we keep trying like doing with
So
good
somewhere
quality.
the question is like, what is the definition of good quality? According
The question is like, instead of chasing for quality, how about keeping focus on improving it, but following the number of rounds whatever we have decided?
yeah, that is good quality, I would say. To your best ability, you are doing with good quality. There is no absolute definition of good quality. But at the end of it, like I think Mataji was saying, or somebody, if Krishna were to come and stand and ask, have you done with good quality according to your own conscience? You should say, yes, I have done with good quality. Okay. So you should not have that guilt that I purposely did with poor quality just to chase some number. Okay. But your good quality versus someone else's good quality may be different. And that comes with practice and with Krishna's mercy. So one thing I wanted to say, which I didn't so far, it's not like one should just focus on just the quality and okay, whatever I can do with some quality, I'll just do and then I'm done. Oh, my quality is dropping, I'll just stop. No, one has to make an effort, make a commitment and make an effort. Like students, there are all these students, they won't pass an exam if they don't put in the effort, if they don't do all the chapters. They cannot say, I have done 2 chapters out of 10 in the syllabus with good quality. You have to, there is a certain commitment that is expected from the school. So similarly, you have to put a commitment and try to meet the commitment. It requires effort. And that's why all these instructions, not wasting time and doing it in the proper mood, reducing our material attachments, etc., all these things come together to increase the quality. So we have to see where is the root cause, why our quality is dropping beyond 3 rounds or beyond 2 rounds, and try to eliminate those reasons and try to increase the quality of the 4th round, of the 5th round. So there is effort required, and it starts with some kind of sankalpa or commitment, but don't take a very lofty commitment and just fall on your face either. Like Chaitanya Charan Prabhu very nicely says, there is comfort zone, there is panic zone, and there is, stretch zone, and then there is panic zone. So stay in the stretch zone, but don't stretch yourself so much that you snap. Like in a rubber band, it should be enough tension, but if you pull it too much, it will break. So there should be healthy tension. So there has to be some effort. You cannot be completely in comfort zone. Okay, after I'm done cooking this, I have like 5 minutes. I will do one round and that's all I will do. Finish. I can have the best quality points, but I don't care about quantity points. Okay. Did I answer your question, Mataji, or was it something different?
Yeah, you answered my question. Yeah, because mainly, yeah, you answered my question. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Next week, we will continue our discussion with the we will go through the Chaitanya Charitamrita portion of the conversation between Srila Haridas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya on the glories of the holy name. And some very beautiful points will come up. Very beautiful, very eye-opening, at least for me. When I was reading that section again, along with Srila Prabhupada's purports, oh my God, it was, I would say eye-opening is an understatement. It was mind-blowing. This is from Antya Leela, 3rd chapter, in case you are interested to pre-read it. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.